Then on Sports Central, we go over a college football game preview and prediction on a big matchup coming up here in the SEC in Week 7 of this 2021 college football season. And it'll be a crucial matchup between the Florida Gators and the LSU Tigers. Huge matchup for each of these teams coming up here this weekend. Florida, this is a football team who's still in the top 25 after taking 2 losses, but there's still a lot to play for Florida, as a New Year's Six Bowl is still definitely within reach. But as for LSU, LSU is starting to raise some eyebrows, especially after a 3-3 start. But LSU, this could be a crucial win for them and potentially could shift the momentum in this program, which is desperately needed. So we'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Florida beat Vanderbilt in their last game. 42-0 was the final score there, which, I mean, that was expected. Florida, I mean, Vanderbilt is a terrible football team, so it was definitely a good thing for Florida to get the win there in a shutout. They're 4-2 heading into this matchup, and they got a 1-game winning streak. As for LSU, lost to Kentucky by 3 touchdowns, 21-42 was the final score there, and the Wildcats are looking like a very solid football team after a win like that. And I mean, LSU, this is a football team who back in 2019 was, I mean, nothing short of outstanding. That was probably the best football team I've seen in recent history, was LSU in 2019. Then in 2020, of course, considering the amount of talent that they lost after 2019, it was kind of expected to see that team take a bit of a rebuild season just because of how young that football team was last year. But 2021, kind of a different story. I mean, you've got those players back for the most part from 2020. I mean, this team is definitely more experienced than they were last year. So it's kind of surprising seeing LSU with already 3 losses on the schedule. And I mean, by the way, the schedule doesn't get any more easy from here on out. So, I mean, LSU, this could be a huge game for them. I mean, to get up to 4 wins, especially with a difficult schedule, I mean, and possibly get some momentum back, it's crucial for them right now. Game will be on Saturday, October 16th in Baton Rouge. So Tigers are the home team in this matchup. It'll be at 11 a.m. Central Time. Spread currently has Florida by 10.5. Over-under is 59. And your ESPN FPI is going with the Gators here, 73%. So Florida, not too surprising, is the favorite team in this matchup. But it is by a significant amount, considering it is a home game for LSU, with Florida being favored by 10.5. And obviously Gators are ranked 20th. Series history, Florida leads at 33-31. So we've seen a close history between these two teams. And win streak is currently LSU by 2. And in the last 5 matchups, LSU leads at 3-2. So LSU has had seemingly more of a success recent history, but in all time, Florida does lead the series 33-31. Stat comparison for this matchup: Florida's got 33 points per game, 16 points allowed, 230 pass yards a game, 273 rush yards, and then for yards allowed, 208 passing, 110 for rushing. LSU's got 29 points per game, 26 points allowed. Rushing game has been not very good for LSU so far this season. I mean, they got a couple of running backs, but they just have not been rushing the ball very much, with 296 average pass yards a game, and then 83 rush yards. Then for yards allowed, 230 passing, 154 for rushing. So obviously, big differences on both sides here. Recent matchups for each of these teams: Florida beat Vanderbilt 42-0. Obviously, Florida did lose to Kentucky a couple of weeks ago, 13-20. That was a very unfortunate loss, but Kentucky's looking pretty good. Kentucky just beat LSU last week. Florida also beat Tennessee 30-14, solid win there. Lost Alabama by 2, 29-31, and beat South Florida 42-20. So obviously Florida's had, I mean, not the worst schedule. I mean, Kentucky and Alabama are 2 talented football teams, and Tennessee, don't sleep on them either. But obviously for LSU here, I mean, they've had 2 straight tough games. They play Kentucky and Auburn. Auburn was a close loss, but Kentucky, man, that wasn't even hardly close. I mean, Kentucky dominated that game really from start to finish. Beat Mississippi State 28-25, beat Central Michigan 49-21, and beat McNeese State 34-7. Some key points for this one: obviously you got Florida 4-2 right now. Still a lot to play for at this point, and really, I mean, that applies to both teams here. Both teams have got a lot to play for right now. I mean, if LSU wants to get to a bowl game, I mean, this could definitely be a much-needed win for them, which it's kind of sad that we're talking about how LSU is going to have a tough time making it to a bowl game this year. But, I mean, it's true. This LSU team just has not looked anywhere near as good as many expected, including myself, so far in this 2021 season. But, for Florida, I mean, they've taken 2 close losses, so we haven't seen really any embarrassing loss or concerning loss for Florida yet. But there's plenty of potential on this Florida team without a doubt. I mean, they're a bit of a younger team this year, especially in comparison to last year. I mean, Kyle Trask, obviously last year, led this team to a solid season. And, I mean, they're still playing pretty well this year considering they've got a much younger team, which, I mean, this is good news for Florida here, is that they're playing as they are with a pretty young football team. So, I mean, in the next couple of years, Florida is a contender without a doubt. But for LSU, crucial game for them. Schedule only gets more difficult. I was looking at the remaining part of their schedule. I can't recall every game right now, but I mean, it's ranked matchup after ranked matchup. So you got to pull off a win or two somewhere in here. I mean, LSU, this is a football team that's definitely capable of upsetting some teams. But I mean, you start to question the coaching a little bit with Ed Orgeron. I mean, he led this team to a national championship a couple of years ago, but we just have not seen really any convincing performances since then. So yeah, for LSU, it's crucial game for them here, and they need to take advantage being at home here. I mean, this is a big home game for them, and obviously, I mean, we've seen LSU have a huge home field advantage in the past, so got to take advantage of that without a doubt. But let's get to the prediction here for Florida and LSU. I'm going to go with the Gators here in a very tight matchup. 28-27 is my predicted final score. It's going to come down to the wire potentially. We see it go up to a last-second field goal or something. It's going to be very close, though. I think Florida is a very talented football team, and I mean, I'm just much more confident right now in the Gators than I am right now with LSU. I mean, LSU, I know this is a talented LSU football team, but they just have not been executing the talent that they have, which, I mean, they've got plenty of talent to pull an upset like this off. But, I mean, Florida is, I think, the better team right now. I'm going to give it 55% towards Florida, so I do expect it to be close, and I wouldn't be surprised if LSU did pull off the win here. But once again, I'm just more confident in Florida right now as a football team, so I'm going to go with them. Over-under is 59. I'm going to take the under in this matchup by just right around 4 points. But let me know your thoughts and comments below on this matchup, and I appreciate you guys all watching. As always, stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you guys later.